The echoes of war had barely faded when the legend of the wild deserters began to weave its ghostly tapestry across the scarred landscapes of the Great War. A sinister tale whispered in hushed tones by men on the front line, it told of an unholy alliance forged in the crucible of conflict. Deserters, once sworn enemies donned in the uniforms of British, Australian, Canadian, Italian, French, German, and Austrian armies, found an unlikely camaraderie beneath the ashen wasteland. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the wild deserters emerged from their subterranean sanctuaries, lurking like phantoms amidst the shell-blasted desolation. Their motives were as murky as the trenches from which they sprang, scavenging rations, weapons, boots, and even the flesh of the fallen, if the tales were to be believed. The legend found its roots in the first-hand accounts of soldiers who claimed to have heard rifle shots and the eerie voices of these renegades in the desolate night. Some spoke of ghostly encounters, as if the very essence of war had birthed a malevolent spectre. One of the earliest chroniclers of this macabre saga was Lieutenant Colonel Arden Arthur Beeman. In the marshes of the Somme, where the earth still bore the scars of one of the war's bloodiest battles, Beeman witnessed the inexplicable disappearance of German prisoners into the very soil they trod. The abandoned trenches and dugouts stretched like a graveyard, frozen in time since the retreat of the German forces. Beeman and his men pressed on, encountering a surreal landscape of abandoned factories, lifeless bodies, and untouched supplies. In the village of Fresnes, a salvage company laughed at their pursuit of escaped German prisoners, cautioning them about the Golgotha, a domain inhabited by wild men, a motley crew of British, French, Australian, and German deserters. These spectral beings, it was said, prowled the night like ghouls among the dead, driven by an insatiable hunger for plunder and blood. Sir Asbert Sitwell, in his autobiography Laughter in the Next Room, portrayed the wild deserters as outlaws, living in the bowels of the earth, recognizing no rules but their own. Their internationalism, born out of desperation, bound them together in a ruthless brotherhood that preyed on the remnants of a shattered front line. Novelists like William Frederick Morris and Reginald Hill lent their pens to the chilling legend, describing secret lairs as indescribably dirty and reeking of a primal, earthy stench. In No Man's Land, the legend took center stage in a tale that echoed the lingering horrors of war. Though skeptics dismissed the legend as a myth, attributing it to the madness that permeated the trenches, doubt lingered. Sitwell reminded the world that the truth could never be certain. The legend, however mythical, held sway over the minds of the troops who had lived through the horrors of the Great War. As the war ended, so too did the patience of the Allied command. The wild deserters, it is said, met their fate under a cloud of gas after the armistice. The legend, born in the crucible of war, became a haunting chapter in the annals of human conflict, a tale of survival, desperation, and the dark shadows that lingered in the aftermath of the Great War.